2020 has been a pretty chaotic year, to put it lightly. Aside from the ongoing pandemic, the year has also been filled with constant natural disasters. In the US alone, wildfires and tropical storms have ravaged parts of the country around the globe. 17 new volcano eruptions occurred, with perhaps the most notable being the tall volcano in the Philippines, which began on the afternoon of January 12. Ashes from the eruption spewed across the country, impacting transportation and affecting classes for many students. It's noteworthy for being the first time the volcano erupted in 43 years. However, that does not mean the world is in the clear when it comes to surprise volcanic eruptions. Many people around the globe like to think they're safe, but you never know when a dormant volcano will suddenly go off. Many popular cities are located not too far away from potentially dangerous volcanoes, and an eruption could result in immense damage and the loss of thousands of lives. It's even more scary considering it's incredibly difficult to ascertain when precisely a volcano will erupt. But that doesn't mean we don't fly from Mount Vesuvius to the Yellowstone Super volcano. Here are 5 volcanoes that could erupt any second. Mount Vesuvius is one of the most famous volcanoes in the entire world, and for good reason. Its eruption back in 79 had led to the destruction of Pompeii, one of the most horrific natural disasters of all time. Today, the volcano seems mostly harmless. People hike up its trails all the time, and you can even find tours that will lead you to the top. However, that does not mean that it will never erupt again. Mount Vesuvius is a stratovolcano, which means it can have exceptionally powerful explosions. It also happens to sit on an unusually large layer of magma. So an eruption would devastate the lives of between 3 and 6 million people. The individuals most in danger would be those who live in neighborhoods, but there are many others in nearby villages and towns who would also be at risk should an eruption occur. It would necessitate the evacuation and temporary shelter of millions of people. It would be something that has practically been unseen within the developed world, and many people would be unable to return to their homes for months or even years. People who couldn't evacuate in time would potentially be trapped in inaccessible areas due to lava flow. Depending on the size of the eruption, 1,000s could perish immediately. The city would be buried in several feet of ash. As evidence of this, look no further than Pompeii, which is located a mere 5 miles from Vesuvius and was buried in 12 feet of ash. It's possible people would be unable to ever return home again, depending on the scale of the eruption. The last time Vesuvius erupted was in 1944, which led to the deaths of 26 people. That was a relatively minor eruption, but all it takes is one big blast for a country to be devastated. The Cookie volcano erupted twice in the last 70 years. The most recent occurred in 1971, with the previous in 1949. However, many experts believe it could be due any day now for an eruption. 1,000s of tremors have been recorded over the last several years. These kinds of earthquakes often precede major volcanic eruptions, and should it ever go off could spell disaster for locals. While the volcano poses the biggest risk to the Canary Islands, other countries could suffer as well. A large enough eruption has the potential to send the western flank of the volcano directly into the Atlantic Ocean. The sudden displacement of water would be enough to result in a mega tsunami many times larger than the ones that rocked the Indian Ocean in 2004. Waves traveling at 500 miles per hour could easily strike the United Kingdom, as well as the east coast of the United States. Naturally, the most at risk for tsunamis would be any neighboring islands in the vicinity. However, multiple countries could be devastated should an eruption occur. People living in coastal towns at risk of the tsunami would need to evacuate right away. There would be some time to prepare before the tsunami waves crash onto the shores. But quick action will mean the difference between a minor and major loss of life. Some scientists don't believe an eruption would be powerful enough to cause a tsunami of such magnitude. But you just never know what Mother Nature will have in store. Yellowstone has experienced super eruptions 3 times in the past. The first was 2.1 million years ago. The next happened 1.3 million years ago, and the most recent was 664,000 years ago. it is entirely possible it will never erupt again, or at the very least, it may never erupt in any of our lifetimes. However, there is always the chance something could transpire and the effects would spread out all over the United States. The states that would receive the most damage would be Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. They would receive the brunt of the pyroclastic streams. However, a massive eruption would have the potential of spreading ash 1,000s of miles across the country. Most of the country could end up covered in ash, resulting in the death of crops and interference with air travel. An eruption of such magnitude would likely have some preceding events unfold. There would be a lot more seismic activity occurring underneath Yellowstone National Park. It would take weeks or months of those earthquakes to lead to an eruption. So fortunately, people in the vicinity would likely have some kind of heads up. The lava flow from a super eruption would cover everything in about a 40-mile radius. The main danger in this scenario is the ash flow. Much of the continent would be covered in several feet of ash, with the volcano burying large parts of the rock. In addition to the states mentioned earlier, the west and east coast will likely receive the least amount of immediate damage, but also feel the effects. As with the rest of the world, in previous supervolcano eruptions, it has been noted that the average temperature of the Earth dropped for many years in a row. If something like this were to happen again, who knows what effects that would have on the planet? Not only would crops be at risk, but people with health complications would also perish. That level of ash would short out transformers, leaving many people around the country without power. It would be a long road to recovery. If Yellowstone ever erupted, wildland eruption is coming sooner or later. Let's just hope it's on a smaller scale. Another stratovolcano that poses a significant danger to all those who live nearby is Mount Agoon in Bali. It's the tallest mountain in Bali, and if it erupted, it would be catastrophic. The last time the volcano went off, a majority of the victims died from pyroclastic flows. Hot clouds of gas emerged from the volcano and rock debris quickly fell down the side of the mountain. These rocks actually pose one of the greatest threats to nearby villages. Even still, an eruption would occur incredibly fast. Pyroclastic streams are able to travel over 100 miles per hour. With limited availability for experts to predict when an eruption will occur, nearby residents will only have a short amount of time to evacuate. One unique threat with this kind of volcano is the danger posed by laas. This is an Indonesian word meaning stream of mud. This mud will develop when the fluffy materials from the eruption mix with the rainwater. It rains a lot in Indonesia, so the loggers will flow through valleys and riverbeds carrying along massive pieces of rocks with them. These rocks will be moving at such a speed that they can tear down houses and bridges with ease. The last time this volcano went off was in 1963. There isn't exactly a rhythm by which volcanoes erupt, but who knows when it will erupt. Next, with the potential to send streams down the side at such a quick rate, there could be untold devastation to the surrounding area in a short amount of time. It all comes down to the locals' ability to mobilize and get out of there as soon as possible. I'd like to preface this one by saying that I apologize if I mispronounce this one, but I'm gonna give it a shot. In 2014 and 2015. The bottom dollar mover volcano in Iceland, which generally lies hidden beneath a glacier, erupted. The eruption lasted for 6 months and resulted in immense air pollution all over Western Europe. While many would think the worst of this volcano would be over, you'd better think again. Bada Bada Boom Go volcano is historically one of the most active volcanoes in the world. In recent years, there have been many earthquakes coming from the volcano as a result of magma shifting through chambers and cracks. Scientists believe that when this volcano erupts again, we should expect something similar to what transpired during a 2010 eruption when airways had to be shut down. The worst-case scenario would involve an eruption leading to fissures throughout Iceland. The problem with this is that there is a possibility of fissure could damage rivers in Iceland that are responsible for producing much of the country's hydroelectric energy. Fortunately, Icelanders are aware of the risk posed by the volcano and have safety protocols in place for such an eventuality. Now, these are just some of the many natural disasters that could severely impact life as we know it, no matter your status in life. At the end of the day, you are always at the mercy of Mother Nature. If you enjoyed this video, click the link on screen now to check out another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.